Now we are interested in what will happen when there are changes in the demand and when there is a movement, and we'll identify the movement along the curve. Okay, so what we are saying is when the own price changes, the quantity demanded changes. Okay, so when the price of T is changing, okay, you will find that the quantity demanded of T will change. This is known as the movement along the demand curve. So what we are saying is this is your price of T and this is the quantity demanded, or this was the equation. When the price of T was, let's say suppose X amount, it changed to Y amount. Okay, so the quantity demanded was Q1 and then you move to the another quantity Q2. So here you can see that you are moving along the demand curve. So when the own price changes, it is a movement along the demand curve, right? So what we can say is, like, please note that there is no change in the demand function. The demand function, it remains the same. Only the movement along the demand curve is happening, right? But what will happen if the income level changes or if the coffee price changes? Note that if the income level changes or the coffee price changes, the demand function would not remain the same. There would be a change in the demand function. So as an example, suppose the salary instead of $5,000, it becomes $5,500. Okay, and assuming there is no change in the price, what will happen to the demand function? The demand function will now become what? So remember, this was your quantity demanded. So what we can say is instead of this 5,000, it becomes 5,500. So your quantity demanded, it will become 5,500 into 0.05. Now you are adding, so it will become 275. So this will become 375.4 minus the price of the tea. So the quantity demanded, it has changed. So what we can say is it will become 375.4 minus 0.7 into price of tea. So what we say is this is the quantity demanded. Okay, so when the price of tea is 0, the quantity demanded will become 375.4. Earlier it was 350.4. So what happens is, you can see from the next graph. So earlier the price old, here you are consuming 350.4. Now because of the increase in the income, this is your new price. So you start consuming more, 375.4. And also what happens is this will increase. Okay, why? Because when the quantity is 0, you are computing the price will become higher. So what you see here is that this is your demand function at the old price, this is the demand function at the new price. So what we can say is there is a shift in the demand curve. Okay, so the changes, this is your right shift in the demand curve. So that means this has increased. Okay, so when the right shift happens, we say that the demand has increased. Okay, also it can happen, the left shift can happen. Okay, so left shift will happen when the income level decreases or the price of coffee, it decreases. Okay, so then we will say that the demand has decreased, right? So when the demand is decreasing, that means people will consume lesser for the same price. So there are two items that we have. One is, we have said that the movement along the demand curve. Okay, we have seen when the movement along the demand curve, it will happen when the own price is changing. When the income level is changing or the coffee price is changing, you will find that there is a shift in the demand curve. Okay, so quantity, when we talk about the shift, we say that the quantity increases at the same price level. How do you explain this? Suppose this was your original demand curve, this is your new demand curve. So there is a shift that is being observed, right? Let's say this is your price. Okay, original price was, this was your original price. Now at the original price, earlier you were demanding Q1 as the quantity. Now at the same price level, you have started demanding a higher quantity. So even if the price of tea is same, the quantity demanded has increased. Now what is the reason for this increase in the quantity? The reason is that increase in income has happened. So income has increased, that means people's demand have increased. So that is what you see when you have a right shift, it means that increase in the demand has happened, right? So same price level, you are demanding more. Contrast this with a decrease in the demand. So this was your original demand curve, there is a decrease in the demand, this is the decrease in the demand. Let's say earlier this was the price P naught, the quantity demanded was Q1. But with the same price level, now the quantity demanded has reduced. That means this is when there is a left shift, there is a decrease in the demand that is being observed. So there is a question for you, what will be the new demand function when the salary is constant but the price of the coffee is increased to 30? So what you will have to do is, you will have to go back here, okay, and the salary level is same but this is changed to 30. So there is an increase of 0.2. So demand function will become 350.6 minus 0.7 into the price of the tea. This will become your new demand function. So note that the demand function will change depending on the income level and the price of the other products. It may be complementary products, it may be substitute products. Now let us see some question. They are saying that as per the law of demand, as the price of a good increases, the quantity of that good, as the price of a good increases, that particular own good, so it means that it should decrease. Okay. They are saying for a good X, if the price of a substitute good increases, what will happen to the demand? So price of a substitute good, if a price of a substitute good increases, people will go to the other good. So as an example, tea and coffee are substitute. If price of coffee it increases, people will find that the demand of tea will increase. So the demand of tea will increase. For a good, a shift in the demand curve will happen. Why? Please note that a shift in the demand curve does not happen because of the change in the price of the good. No. Okay. Also the demand is not related with respect to the cost. So these two are wrong. A shift will happen only when the income level changes or the price of substitute or complementary good changes. Right. The next, for a good, a movement along the demand curve, when it will happen? Remember, the movement along the demand curve will happen when you have changes in the price, own price of the good when it is being seen, then you have the movement along the demand curve.